right. Good morning, everybody. Is it on? My voice is loud enough already, but I guess you can hear me super well. Oh, I just need to breathe for a moment. Children are intense, eh? Wow. And Adrian's like, over to you. I was like, what did he say? I wasn't joking there. Was he really handing over to me in that moment? I was still trying to gather myself. Whew. I received that word, rest in the Lord. Let's be still for a moment. Yesterday was the first day that I've had a full cricket match with my school in a very long time. And I was in the field the entire day. So I'm feeling pretty sunned out at the moment. It's pretty hectic. I think being away from the family for a full day after not going away for more than 18 months. You know, it used to be a normal thing. We'd go every weekend. And now this is the first time that I had like a full day away. And we went to Grahamstown and we had to drive back the same day. It was pretty heavy. It was pretty heavy. It actually hit me quite hard in the morning. I was like, wow, this was normal. This was normal. You know, this is quite an interesting, I would say an interesting adjustment again, because we adjusted to doing nothing, haven't we? We adjusted to doing almost nothing, and now all of a sudden life is starting to feel like we're getting back to some sort of normalcy. What is that going to look like? Are we going to go back to the crazy, or are we going to find a happy medium? It's quite an interesting thought, isn't it? I find what the Lord, a lot of people are trying to figure out. I mean, I don't know if you guys have had this question before, but they're trying to figure out if, did the Lord send COVID? Do you think the Lord sent COVID? I was like, what are you talking about? No, because, we don't know. Maybe he's punishing us, the humanity. And then I was like, that's quite a difficult one to answer. But also, there is an interesting concept about fathers disciplining their children. But then on the same side, he's all loving at the same time. How do we answer that question? It's like, or is this just something from the evil one to disrupt us? And my answer to them is always one thing. I say to them, I don't know, because I'm not the Lord. So I don't know if he sent it or not. But all I can say is that he uses every single thing for his goodness. It doesn't matter how bad, he will make it good. He will use it for his glory. And so my question rather to them was, did the Lord send it? Let's not have a discussion on doctrine about whether he sent it or not. Let's rather have a discussion about what do you think he's teaching us in it. Does it make sense? What is he trying to teach us? What is he trying to do through this time? Because ultimately right now we're sitting in a space of, I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting pretty despondent about it. These masks are irritating me. I hate them. Everyone's like, no, it's normal now. It's normal. I'm just getting so used to putting this thing on my face. I'm like, no, it's not normal. You're not supposed to breathe through a thing. You're supposed to breathe normally. We're not in Joburg. I love ripping people off that go from Joburg. Sorry if you come from Joburg, but I always say you have to chew the air before you breathe it. It's pretty hectic there. I don't know why. But I'm like, this is not normal, man. We're living in the new normal. Please. This is not normal. I can't wait for the day that they say we don't have to wear these things anymore. So I'm actually relishing this right now. Hey? Yeah, it's fantastic. That's why I like that moment of resting in the Lord. We get to breathe. It's lovely. Yeah, but I think some of the things, I want to just share a couple of things that I've been going through. The last time I was here when I shared, I think I shared about hearing the Lord, if I remember correctly. And I spoke about how I had quite a tough time over probably from about November, add 6 months. And I actually had symptoms of depression. I was like going through quite a thing, and I didn't even know it myself. And just coming out of that, I realized what I needed to ask myself, and it's exactly that question that I answer those people with. What is the Lord trying to teach us in this time? And it always comes back to this word reset. It comes back to that word for some reason. I don't know why. And I don't know if you guys have seen Jeremy Riddle's book as well. It's called The Reset. I was like, oh, this is amazing. It's almost like this big reset button that the Lord's trying to say is like, can you guys just please look at your lives? because you are too busy. That's what I feel like the Lord is saying, at least to me. You are too busy. Stop. Rest. Actually, like, do you have a day of rest? Do you actually have a day of rest? Because for me, sometimes church doesn't feel like rest, and that's supposed to be our day of rest? Church doesn't feel like rest. It feels like another thing. Sorry, Adrian, you know what I mean? It just feels like another thing that I have to do, but it's so good at the same time. I can't actually not go to church, personally. When we missed church for that long time, we didn't know what we missed. We didn't know what we were missing until we went back. And when we went back to church, we started worshiping together. I was like, oh, this is crazy. The Lord is actually, He wants us here. He wants us together. He wants us to connect. He wants us to experience Him together. There's something about worshiping together that you cannot get from this moment, like people talking to you. You know, this is a lecture, isn't it? Half the time I'm like, do we really have to sit and listen to a dude for half an hour? Like, come on. You know, but worshiping together, I love it. My wife always says it's like this thing that everyone can get involved in. Everybody can get involved in worship together. Everybody feels like they are a part of it. And there's something about that corporate worship that is just so inviting in a sense. Because when the Lord is there, He says, where 2 or 3 are gathered in the midst of it, there I am in the midst of you. It's so good. And I just think in those moments we have to figure out what is the Lord trying to say to us. And for me it was reset, figure out, look at your life. Are you actually having a day of rest? So this is before COVID. This was my life. And I think I've shared this with you before. I'm going to say it again. So we'd have a 5-day week of school. So my wife and I teaching Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, and then 2 of those days a week. Sometimes it was alternative days. So sometimes we would have sport. So I would have sport on a Monday, Wednesday, and then Shawnee would have sport on a Tuesday, Thursday, which means we don't see each other until like 5, which is like a normal day. Everyone's like, oh, well, we do that as well. Okay, cool. Then we get home, and it's immediately into bathing, getting the kids ready for bed, supper, all the rest of it, boom, 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 and it's go, go, go until they fall asleep. And sometimes my 3-year-old, oh my word, he sleeps at school, and he's in that moment of like, do you skip his nap at school so that he goes to sleep early, or do you or do you like let him sleep? But when he sleeps at school, he comes home and he's wide awake until like 9:30. That's too much. So I'm like freaking out now after cricket in the afternoon. I'm like, and then this kid's like, daddy. Read me book, you know? And you're like, I don't even have the capacity to sit on a couch and stare into nothingness, and you want me to read me a book. Like, come on, bud. So I'm trying to figure that out at the moment. I think we're having discussions about tell the school to skip his nap, you know? But my point is that it's busy until like 8, sometimes 9. And then I get to like relax and actually have a conversation with my wife. And guess what? This guy falls asleep on the couch. Come on, guys, who knows what that feels like? Hey, the ladies are just like, I know what that's like. I'm trying to talk to my husband. And he just goes, hey, sorry. I even apologized to my wife the other night because I was like, I had such a hectic week, and then I just fell asleep on the couch. She just wanted to hang out. I was goners. And then I went to cricket the whole day. Not really cool. And then we came here. Just like busy, you know. So my point is this, 5-day week. Then I would have sport on a Friday because we have a derby day that lasts 2 full days. You'd start at Friday at like 10 a.m. the whole way through to like 9 at night. And then Saturday starting at 8 the whole way through to 4 in the afternoon. And then I'd come home like a normal day. And then we'd have church on Sunday. And then we were elders at the church. And we were running the worship at the church, which we still do. So then you have duties on Sunday morning. You have duties on Sunday evening. And then we start again. I actually complained in the beginning of the year. I actually sounded like a terrible person. I complained to the elders. I said, this is my life. And I told them a whole thing. Now, why am I telling you this? It's because I really believe that the Lord almost answered prayers in a way of saying, hey, every single one of you people on this earth, you need a rest. Boop. Lockdown. Level 5. For the globe. You know what I mean? And everyone's just like, oh my word, isolation, depression level, this, marriages, getting like divorces, this is a bad thing. But actually, in the same thing, are we going to be people who can actually take away our busyness and find what we're actually here for. And that's what my message is this morning. And I want to take you on a journey of what I started learning over the last few months, answering that question of like, Lord, what are you trying to teach us in this time? Because now it's like level 1, big gatherings can happen, spectators are allowed to come to sport now, By the way, we've just hit, I think 2 weeks ago, we just hit 3.5 billion people getting vaccinated in the world. That's half the population of the planet. You know what I mean? And that's pretty intense. Where like, if you think about that rollout, it's incredible how crazy fast it's got. So people are getting back to normal life. I don't know if you guys have seen what's happening in England. It's looking like normal life, like the soccer. I don't know if you guys have seen soccer stadiums packed out, no masks. Everyone's like, oh, that's dangerous. But they're sitting at 90 to 95% vaccinated in the country, which means they can do that. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm not going to get into a vaccination thing now. If you're against it, I'm sorry, or whatever the story is. I don't want to do that. But my point is this. What are we actually doing here? Are we, it's intense to try and think about the level, so it's easing up. But the Lord is still trying to tell us something. My thing is this. Are we going to ease up and then go back into the busy? Or are we going to look at ourselves and say, that was intense. Can we learn something from being in lockdown? Because I know a few companies who have actually shut down their buildings and said, we can actually operate better from our people, our employees, working from home. We had better numbers. We had better, revenue from people working at home. I was like, that's amazing. Some companies don't actually have to be on site. They made it work. That's a good thing. Why? Because actually they learned something, didn't they? They adapted and they made it happen. My thing is, as Christians, what are we learning about this? Are we going to just slot back into the normal busy life of the church? Or are we going to see that Jesus actually had a cycle of rest as well? Are we not supposed to be mirroring what Jesus did on this earth? So then why the heck are we so busy? Why the heck are we so busy? There was something that, I don't know if some of you saw the conference. It was streamed, hey? I don't know if you guys watched, but Edgar King, the national director in Kenya, and when he spoke, he actually quoted something that I just love, and it says, we need to eliminate, I can't actually quote it exactly, but we need to eliminate that whole idea of hurry in our lives. Why is everything in a hurry all the time? And I also want to link that to busy. Why is everything so busy all the time? We need to actually rest in the Lord, hey? Isn't it? One of my favorite verses at the moment is be still and know. Because in the silence, you're actually listening. And for me, I'm a words person. I mean, I'm an English teacher. I love talking. People actually say to me, Matt, you need to, I'm a voice noter. Jeez, I have voice notes, eh? You know, I send you voice notes. But the thing is, like, when I voice note, I don't just voice note like, hey, can you do that? And then it's like 12 seconds. 3.5 minutes. The best gift that my wife ever felt on WhatsApp was that they can press the ×2. Have you guys seen that? You can listen to it in double speed. So now my 3.5 voice note minutes are only 1 minute 40. You know, she's like, that's amazing. I listened to it in double speed. I don't have to listen to 3.5 minutes of you anymore. It's just fantastic. But the thing is, that's my way of connecting, you know. And so, what is my journey been at the moment? And last year, so at school, what we do is with the staff at the end of the year, we do like the Secret Santa thing. And one of the people I didn't know who gave it to me, but they gave me this book, and I don't know if any of you have read it. It's called A Man's Search for Meaning. I did not touch it. I haven't touched it since I received it. And I picked it up during the holiday. Was it 2 weeks ago? As you can see, I'm not even halfway yet because I've been pondering on almost every page. It is literally, it says here, the classic tribute to hope from the Holocaust. It's about a man who survived Auschwitz, which is like hectic. I don't actually like a lot of the pages, but some of the things that he says, he's a psychiatrist, and some of the things that he says in here are absolutely profound. And so my answer to a lot of what I'm saying this morning is ultimately, what exactly are we supposed to be doing on this freaking earth. What are we supposed to be doing? Because if I'm going to be busy and find my meaning in my busy, what happens when my busy goes away? Where's my meaning? If I'm going to find my meaning in my parenting, my kids are going to grow up. Where's my meaning gone then? If I'm going to find my meaning in my wife, I mean, ultimately we know, till death do us part, we're going to part one day. What am I doing? Where is my meaning? Where is my purpose? What am I actually supposed to be doing on this earth? Now, these oaks went through suffering. COVID, when you read this, COVID is nothing. It's nothing. It sucks. Okay, I'm sorry. It sucks. People are losing lives. I understand that. I've lost people very close to me. It's hectic. Okay, but when I read this, I'm like, whew, drop in the ocean compared to what these guys went through. This is incredible. And this is not a religious book, but at the same time, it is a religious book. And I want to read this thing to you that I think is almost the pinnacle. It's the pinnacle of what I believe that I'm trying to get to this morning. So let me just say what I said again. Jesus lived a cycle of rest. You will notice that if you actually go through, actually learned this from Trevor Hudson, you'll notice that if you go through Jesus' cycle and you see how he ministered to people, he hung out with people, he prayed. Okay? And from all of those things, he started again by resetting himself for resting. He rested and he prayed. And then from there, he felt recharged in order to minister again. It didn't just keep ministering. I mean, your tank would be empty. You shouldn't be busy all the time. We should be resting in order to do something. We can't just always rest either. You know what I mean? Because then what are we doing? You know, we need to try and find that cycle of what Jesus was doing. What was he doing? He was resting in order to minister. He was recharging in order to give. Once he gave, he recharged again. And when he recharges, those are the times that we always talk about, like, do we have a quiet time? You know, when do you have your quiet time? You know, I always used to, when I was a kid, I always used to think to myself, quiet time, that's so boring. I can't sit quietly, you know, I can't do that. I just can't. So how do you recharge? My recharging at the moment, my rest, I find little moments in the day to rest. It's the only time that I can actually think about it. And it's just worship music in my ears, or in the morning when I'm getting ready with all my kids, I put worship music on. Sometimes it gets a little bit loud and crazy, but at the same time, I'm just like, I'm honing in on spending time with the Lord during my busy, because then I don't feel like the busy is overwhelming me. Yeah? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we need to try and find, what are we doing here? What am I doing? Am I just going to be busy for the sake of busy? Am I really going to burn myself out? Is that worth it? I had quite a hectic time at school because I had a few people that were bashing me, and one of the things that was said to me would hit home. And I said to him, listen, I said to one of the I would just say one of the people that's above me, he challenged me and said, like, I'm a little bit worried about you. And I was like, thanks for being worried. Tell me why. And he told me a few things, and I said, well, at the end of the day, you have to understand that I'm a husband first, and I'm a father, and then I'm a teacher. He said, I understand this is my job, but it's not who I am. This is what I do. It's a big difference. And then he said, this is what rocked me. He said, but I think you're too much of a family man. Sorry? I said, that's, no. I will never be too much of a family man. If something is going wrong with my family, I'll walk away from here immediately. This is second. That's first. Obviously, the Lord is first, but the Lord is in everything with me. Does that make sense? Okay. So, but that's number one. So, what's COVID teaching me? COVID is teaching me that, hey, your busy is not your purpose. Your busy is not your purpose. Your purpose is deeper than your busy. Okay, you can get happy. Hey, happiness. Happiness is a moment, isn't it? You can get, circumstances will make you happy and take away happiness. Circumstances. I can get happy about a moment. Someone will come up to me, encourage me, and I'll be like, oh, that's great. You know, the next moment someone can absolutely tune me and then I won't feel happy. Happiness is fluctuating, isn't it? It's a moment, it's circumstances, it's scenarios. It's all these things, up and down, up and down. Purpose is deeper. Purpose is forever. Purpose is eternal. There's something about understanding your purpose and your meaning that is going to give you more than happiness. And hope and purpose go together. Guys, understand the definition of hope. Okay? Hope is kind of a thing that we can't really grasp. It's not wishful thinking. I feel like I've said this to you before, but I'm going to say it again. It's not wishful thinking. It's not like, I hope this happens. That's wishful thinking. Hope is having your spiritual eyes set on something in the future and living according to that promise. And I'm like, my hope is in heaven. My hope is in Jesus, because He's promised. And He's a God that never lies. He's a God that says, I will fulfill what I promised to you. You know, I will fulfill that thing. I am coming back. And we live in hope. And it's a good hope. It's a deep thing. Knowing that He's coming back, and we can be joyful about that. Joy is also transcending of happiness. Joy is a state, it's a choice. It's not to do with circumstances. We choose to be joyful because He's coming back. Come on. That's good news. But I don't want to be burnt out and bitter and gross about life because I'm not resting in Him. Yeah? I don't want my life to get in the way of my purpose. I don't want to find purpose in the things. Purpose is actually, it's quite a weird thing, because purpose is actually something that I find is defined by, if you know what the Bible says, I think it's in Philippians, where it says, if you lose yourself, you will find yourself. Is it in Philippians? I think. Just remember that now. But when he says, if you lose yourself, don't concentrate on you, concentrate on other people. That's humility. Concentrate on others, and then you'll find who you are. And that's the only thing that I find is super important. But how are we supposed to lose ourselves when we're so busy with life? Life is too hectic, man. COVID is telling us, the Lord is telling us through COVID, reset. So check this out. I lost it now, damn it. Okay, give me a second. Oh, man. Okay. I think this is the moment. Yes, here it is. Okay. It says, his experience in Auschwitz was, terrible as it was, reinforced what was already one of his key ideas. Here it comes. Life is not primarily a quest for pleasure, as Freud believed, Sigmund Freud, or a quest for power, as Alfred Adler taught, but it's actually a quest for meaning. The great task for any person is to find meaning in his or her life. This man saw three possible sources for meaning. Number one, in work, doing something significant. In love, caring for another person. This man held on to the image of his wife. I just want to tell you, I don't want to spoil anything in this if you guys want to read it, but he held on to the image of his wife, his beloved, he calls her, not knowing that she had already been executed. It was crazy. And I just thought that was amazing, because it's what actually pulled him through in the end. He held on to the image of his wife through the darkest days. And then the last thing is, he finds meaning in courage through difficult times. So let me say that again. He finds his meaning through work, through love, and through courage. So we're doing something significant. Is your work actually significant to others? What is the, if you want to just talk about work in connection with the church, let's talk about that for a second. What ultimately are we supposed to be doing as a church? Are we supposed to just be meeting on a Sunday? Because these aren't the times that I feel like are the meaningful moments of a church. These are good times, and I'm not saying that they're insignificant either. I think they're actually amazing. But we should be pushing ourselves more than. This could be a time of recharge as well. We need to be thinking about a moment of going, okay, what exactly can we do that is more than? For instance, I actually stood outside there now and I was thinking about it. I was like, someone has a matric dance. The church should be putting on and you can't have it during COVID. The church would be having a matric dance for that one person, and you put it on. Hey, how cool is that? You know, maybe a graduation. Can't have a graduation now. Do a graduation for the person. Do you know what I mean? Having a birthday, and they can't do any celebration. Have the celebration. But like hosting things for your community and loving them through these times, because it's difficult. But ultimately in work, when you do those work, you are serving people and you are serving them in love. This is what Jesus did as well. But how are we going to be changing our thought process if we are not resetting our thoughts about being busy for the sake of being busy because, this is work? I remember being 8 years old, sitting at my table, and it's the first time I ever had homework. And I sat there and I was like, I felt so important. I was like, I've got homework. You know, look at me, I've got homework. But I'm like, when I think back to that feeling that I had, I was like, did I just say that because I felt important about the work, or was I actually seeing what value the work was giving me? Does that make sense? It's like I just was excited about I couldn't even remember what I was doing. You know, but I remember that feeling so well that it's like I found value or purpose in the fact that I had work to do. But there was nothing else. I didn't know what it was giving me. I didn't know what I was doing. But it just, I felt important because I had work. But there's more to it. There's more to it than that. Our purpose transcends what we do. Who we are is important. The Lord is calling out, and I just want to say it this morning. The Lord is calling out. He's saying to you, what have I called you to? What is your meaning? What is your purpose? I shared this at Fountain a few months ago. There's been this like hunger for connection because we're supposed to connect as people, you know. And when you get your connection taken away, like level 5 did, when you just had to sit at home, it's difficult to try and explain that until you actually have connection again. When you have connection, you just want to hug people, you know. I love hugs. And we still haven't been free enough to actually hug freely like we used to, you know. And it's such a crazy thing. Even handshaking, like I feel hesitant to shake people's hands still because it's been like rewiring our minds. And I'm like, connection is so important to human beings, not just spiritually, not just in the house of the Lord, but actually just like physical health. Connection is important. It's really important. Do you guys know that a while ago, atheists actually gathered? They gathered like churches. They started atheist churches, if you want to call them that. And the atheists would get together because they feel like connection is super important. They would sing Queen and stuff, and they would read Alice in Wonderland. And I'm like, there's some oak would stand up and talk about like scientific things. Everyone's like, yes. But they felt the need to gather because people need to gather. People need to connect. Yeah? I mean, listen to this. The one oak says here from that atheist gathering, he says it's a nice excuse to get together and have a bit of community spirit, but without religion aspect. Then he's like, it's not a church, it's a congregation of unreligious people. Okay? And then listen to this. He says, I think that people need that sense of connectedness because everyone is so singular right now. And to be a part of something and to feel like you are a part of something, that is what people are craving in this world. To feel like they are a part of something. Hey, can you feel that? But what my thing is to be a part of something. Are you being a part of something for the sake of being a part of something? Or are you being a part of something because it is significant? Is it lacking significance? You know, because reading Alice in Wonderland and singing Queen for me is lacking huge significance. What are we doing then? What are we doing? Are we just meeting for the sake of meeting? But they're meeting because they can feel that there's a need for gathering and connecting and sharing life together. How beautiful is it that we get to do that in the Spirit of the Lord? That's what gives it significance. When you invite people into the space where the Lord is, it's like, come on. There's something so significant, something unique about how we gather. Hey, can you guys feel that? Hey, it's so good. So My thing is this. To find your purpose, do you guys know Rick Warren, Purpose-Driven Life? When we gather, have you guys done Purpose-Driven Life? You not really. Okay. I've done this a long time ago, but while I was doing this, it reminded me about when we're finding our purpose, we need to understand that meaning and purpose and all of these things are something that's super embedded in us, and we can't find it in what we do. We find it in who we are, and I'm going to keep saying that. We find it in who we are in the Lord as well. We need to hear what He says about you. When people give you words, write it down. Write it down. Make sure you have a good recollection of what He says to you personally. Someone came to me the other day and literally said something to me, and I forgot to write it down. I can't remember what they said. I'm going to have to go back to them. Now they're going to be like, I don't know what I said. Why won't they remember what they said? Because they're saying it in the spirit of that moment. And sometimes that moment is so good, and all the evil one wants to do is he wants to take away all of those things. So it's good to document things, what the Lord says. We need to write them down. And so my thing is, during this time, the purpose, when people are saying things to you, please write it down and remember them, because it helps build your identity. It helps build why you are here. It helps build your meaning, because a lot of us are searching for that meaning at the moment. We don't know why we are doing what we are doing, but we're doing it anyway. The Lord is telling you, you are there for a reason. You are doing what you are doing for a reason. But when we can start understanding that, we need to find significance in our work, yes. We need to find significance in our love, yes. We need to find significance in pushing through tough times, yes. These are very much yeses. So how are we going to answer those for yourself? Okay. Ultimately, for you, I feel like connecting well is going to happen in the next season. Connecting well. How do you connect well? And so the purpose of you as a church and you as a community, I would just say as a community of Addo area, I see the Lord giving you guys ideas in order to connect well, even in COVID conscious. COVID conscious is normal now, you know what I mean? We're like, okay, protocol, this is what we do, boom, boom, boom. Okay, cool, great. Now let's talk about the fun, because it's normal now, yeah? So this is the thing. Level one, first point, how do you connect well? You need to play together. You need to have fun. You need to do something that you can laugh and play together. Okay? We can't be serious in church all the time, please. I would never be there if it was serious all the time. Honestly, I would not be there. Okay, if the life of the Lord was all supposed to be, hallelujah, in the freaking stand there, swing this thing, hey, don't swing it too far, kind of vibe. You know what? If that was life in the church, count me freaking out. I am not keen for seriousness all the time. There's times I teach this in my class. I say there's times to play, and then there's business time. We need to recognize what the difference is. Yeah? And my thing is this, we need to start on level one, play, enjoy. Why do you think we have icebreakers at youth and stuff? We did a worship gathering, hey guys, on Thursday night, and we just had fun, for like a whole, I think it was a good half an hour. Like grown women and men running, popping balloons at their bum, and it was like hilarious. It was fantastic. Why was that fantastic? Is because sometimes joy brings out the best in us. When we can laugh together, we need to play together. So go to the movies. Okay, that's expensive. Go eat out. That's also expensive. Go to a sporting event. We can't have spectators. This is not good, Matt. This is a terrible, terrible list. Go on vacation together. Yeah? Have a night out with just the men in the church. With just a woman in the church. Have a women's event where you can actually laugh and enjoy. My wife went with some of her work colleagues. They have a thing called painting with grapes. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Where they go and they paint. They paint and they have wine. My friends and I went about a month and a bit ago, and we went to Tempen Bowling. Had some beers, Tempen Bowling, laughed. Fantastic. What a great night, eh? All the dudes together. It was so fun. But we need that. We need to play, because connecting starts there. And when you are in that playful, watch what happens. When it's not my turn to bowl, I sit down and what happens? I have a connection moment with one of these guys. And I chat, hey, bro, how's life going? Yes, bro, it's so hectic, man. You know, this and that. And you connect there. Hey, bro, it's your turn. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Oh, I missed the strike, whatever. Anyway, so you were saying? Do you know what I mean? Play together. Level 2, we need to learn together. Okay? Hebrews 10 verse 24 and 25 talks about that. If you want to write it down, you can go and have a read on your own. Okay? To learn together. We recommend that you learn together in 2 ways. In the Bible, yes, but then also from one another. Do you guys know that the whole Bible is truth? Everyone who knows that? The whole Bible is truth. But not all truth is in the Bible. Can we really confine God to a book? Does it make sense? The Bible, the whole Bible is truth, yes. But not all of the truth is in there. We can learn so much about the Lord from each other because He's doing new things all the time. He's speaking new truth all the time. We cannot confine Him to a book, but I'm not saying don't read the Bible. We must. There's good stuff going on there. But there's a lot of things that we can learn from each other as well. Level 3, we need to serve together. We need to serve together. 2 Corinthians 6 verse 4 actually says that it talks about serving together. You can go and have a look at that one as well. I didn't give the thing, sorry. But by serving together, don't mean volunteering at church at a function and stuff like that. Okay? We know that those are very good things. But I mean, when I was saying, no, maybe you want to do a matric dance for a person, hey? Some people get excited about that. Oh, I want to do it. That's the serving we're talking about. It's the joy that comes from what God's placed in you. We don't want to serve, like, do I have to serve coffee now? You can go sit down. I don't want you serving coffee. Do you want coffee? You know, I don't want that coffee. I don't want coffee from you. You know, like this. Like, why are you serving coffee if you're not amped about serving coffee? Get stoked. You know, if it's just a moment that you can actually do it, you know, wash the dishes with a smile on your face at church, whatever. But I don't want people to serve if they don't feel like they're in a place to serve. You know, I teach my worship leaders, I say to them, guys, you do know that we're not up here because we're good musicians and all the rest of it and we can do this thing. And no. We are here to serve the people. We are here to serve the people. This is about us serving them. This is not about you. This is not about anything else other than you need to understand that you are looking at them and saying, Lord, how do you want me to serve your people this morning? How can you help me, Lord? Show me where you want to go so that they can connect with you. That's serving. Lord, how can I serve tea and coffee this morning that will make people feel like they have just had a God experience? I have no idea how that's possible, but anything is possible with the Lord. As they're coming to you, look at them and say, hey, I can see you've had a tough morning. The Lord sees you. Just want to say that, you know, He loves you this morning. You're fine. He's got you. There's your coffee. Have a good one. Boom. Little moment of encouragement. That Oaks Day is made. Hey? It's easy when you're in the presence of the Lord. It's easy. Serving together. Level 4. Suffer together. Suffer together. This is tough. This is tough. Suffering sucks. Hey? I've spoken about suffering here before, I remember. Suffering is terrible. And we need to understand suffering first if we're going to actually suffer well. Okay, remember suffering, I don't know if you will remember it, so I'm just going to recap your memory. But suffering is actually a good thing because we don't know what God's plan is through that. Okay, remember I spoke to you about as a parent, we can give a kid medicine that tastes terrible. And they're like, you hate me, why are you giving me that? But we know that it's going to be good for him. In that moment, it sucks. But we know it's going to be good for him later. In the moment, it sucks what we're going through. But God knows it's going to be good for us later. You know, those are very good things to understand about suffering. So, obviously, we want to avoid suffering if possible, you know. But suffering is actually a part of life. It's a part of what we're doing. The Bible says, in this world you will have trouble. But take heart, for I have overcome the world. It's okay. I've got it. I've got you, you know. But this is the thing. The best thing we can do is either go through it with others. In order for this to happen, we need to understand the difference between going to suffering and going through suffering. Okay, going to suffering is, for instance, I'm going to pray for you. I'll send flowers to the hospital, okay, which are all good things. Recommend a counselor, plumber, employer, whatever. You recommend people for them, okay. Offer some advice. This is what I think you can do, okay. Maybe you want to pay their electricity bill. That's going to suffering with them. But going through suffering is a little bit more. And this is taxing. Okay? Calling and praying with someone every day until that crisis is over. You know, spending the day with the family in the waiting room at the hospital. What about going with a friend to his or her chemo treatments? You know, helping a friend with a collapsed sewer pipe, dig a trench and put a new one in instead of just recommending a plumber. Both of them are still helping, by the way. But like some of them going through it is way more intense, yeah? Helping someone raise money to pay for their bills instead of paying for the bill. Yeah? Hectic stuff. So, this is the thing. Purpose. Purpose is, as I said, it's transcending happiness and joy. We need to find that meaning. And for us as a church, I think connecting well will give us that essence of purpose again. This is why we are here. We are here for each other. We are here to connect. We are here to worship the Lord together. We are not here just for the sake of ticking a box each week, you know. I don't want to be a box ticker. I don't want to be a dude that goes, okay, I've been to church. What's next? You know, that for me just doesn't give me any satisfaction at all, because ultimately you feel nice about ticking the box, but then what? I don't care about ticking the box. I care about, Lord, what do you want to do with me now? If you're going to take anything from what I'm going to say this morning, if you're going to take anything, I think one of the best things that you can do is the momentary understanding of, in each moment, the Lord can work with you. As I said, with the coffee, I think that was quite a thing. I felt like the Lord was on that moment, where it can give that little word of encouragement. If that's where you start finding your purpose, then go bananas there. Absolutely bananas. Finding true meaning is something that is going to give you guys so much satisfaction in life. And I feel like COVID has given us the opportunity to cut a few things. We cut a lot. My wife and I, we actually said no to a lot of things so that we can actually feel like we're spending time together. Feel like we're having time with our family together. It's important. It's important stuff. We don't get these times back. Look, Rachel's sleeping on her. I mean, 2 years' time, we're not going to have that. That's beautiful right there. You know, she's sleeping on her chest there. Like that, we're not going to have that again. I want to make sure that I'm going to be present in the moments that we have now, because something was going to change. Things always change. So the last thing I want to share, I've got two or three different thoughts that I want to share just lastly. Small adjustments can make a huge difference. Yesterday I was coaching cricket, and I just want to do this because I felt awesome about it. And I am going to feel awesome about it while I share it with you. So, coach of the day. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to take any glory too much. But I can say that I felt really good when I made small adjustments. So I said to my bowler, he was bowling, and as he bowled, the guy kept hitting him through mid-wicket. If you guys know what I'm talking about, it's one of these moments goes through here. And he had a player here, and he had a player there, and he had a player on the boundary down there. So the guys just kept getting one and one and one. He just hit it. And I said, hey, boy, can you move the guy on the boundary over there and then put that guy over here? And you'll see that you'll probably get something happening. He goes, okay, sir. And he goes, hey, you go over there and you go on the boundary this side. So now if you hit it over this player, it's fine because that guy's there, you know, no issue. But he kept hitting it in this area. I kid you not. 2 balls later, the guy hits it and he says yes because he remembers that the oak was on the boundary there and he didn't look at his field again. And this guy had moved right here and he picked the ball up and threw it back, run out. I was like, well, that was nice, wasn't it? Just a small adjustment and we got a wicket. Just a small adjustment. The oak literally moved 3 feet this way. Done. Small adjustment, huge result. Same thing. Guys bowling, we had 2 wickets to take. I still message my wife at this time. I'm like, I can't believe we can't take these last 2 wickets. Always happens like that in cricket. Hey? Those last 2 wickets and those O's just sit there. No. You know, and you're like, bud, you're going to lose. They still needed 160-something runs to win. We absolutely dominated them, but he still goes like this. No. Now what? Now I have to wait for you Oaks to make a mistake. And all he's doing is putting his bat in the way. So I said, we have to change something. Small adjustment. I said to my bowler, I said, instead of bowling so straight, I said, come wide and angle it into the batsman. He looked at me, he's like, okay, sir. I kid you not. He literally came wide. He angled it in. Bowled the oak out first ball after I told him. And I said to him, hey? And he looked at me and he goes, sir, that worked. I'm like, I know. Hey, how cool is that? Just a slight adjustment. All we did is instead of bowling from here, he bowled from here and went that way. And the batsman didn't know what to do because it came from a different angle. Small adjustment. Huge result. What small adjustments are you going to make in your life that's going to give you a massive result? All we did, we cut house church on a Wednesday evening and we started meeting purposefully in times that actually helped us. You know, there was a mandatory thing of house churches on Wednesday. Not anymore. We said no. And we have Wednesday nights now where we can actually breathe. And it's so good. You with me on that? Small adjustment, huge result. Sean, I did say that we meet in other ways. I did say that, right? We can go look at the streams here. Yeah, no, don't quit small groups. I started which doesn't happen anywhere, but I started like a running one on a Saturday morning where the guys would get together and go and run and we would chat and have a coffee afterwards. And there's different ways to meet that just help. How do you make your life work in those regards? You know, so don't not meet. That's not what I'm saying. Okay. I think I'm not going to actually look for that last point because I had it down, but I'm actually just going to leave it at that. I think that was a good one. That small adjustment, huge result. I think we can end it there. And I feel like the Lord, you guys want to stand with me? Let's just take time to feel like what the Lord is fully saying just as we close off this morning.